our daily live stream, Steel City Live, and I'm joined by my boy Sean. What is up, Sean? How are you, buddy?
What's up, Jason? I'm doing pretty good. Just out here, been trying to read up on everything that's going on in training camp and keeping up with the Joneses here, man. How's everybody doing?
Living the dream. Yeah. Steelers finished up what? The OTA periods. Now we finish up the mandatory mini camp sessions. Now we head toward Latrobe, Pennsylvania. That will be in July, and that'll be cracking off, and that should be pretty huge for the Pittsburgh Steelers, Sean. There's several players out there. 24. That is our next drop that we will make tomorrow night live at 7 p.m. So everybody make sure you're here for 7 p.m. Make sure you get your Mic Drop Mafia memberships so you can get inserted into the giveaways. And I will tell you one part of it, and there will be a prize for sure, but I am going to also extend for somebody if they win, if they want to, Sean, I'm going to let somebody come on and talk Steelers football. So we'll see if that will be appealing to anybody. We'll see.
It looks like we're having audio issues, brother. I think something's going on there. Read the chat there.
We don't have sound. Damn, is Jason meditating? Oh shit. Hold on. We're gonna move. Let's see if we move. Let's see.
Good. Okay, I think it's good now, they're saying. Yeah, I think so. Oh, no, we froze. It's froze up there, brother Jason. It's awfully glitchy. I think it got worse. You got to find that new spot in that house, yeah. Yes, sounds better. Still looks glitchy.
I got more bars over here.
I think my side's coming in good. But yeah, you're in a glitchy area over there, brother.
How about now? Nothing else?
No,
Nothing new now?
that's much better, I'd say.
Is my video better?
Yes.
All right, we're in a better place. What about you guys in the chat? Put it in there. Let me know if we are a little bit better. Good now? All right, good. Sorry, guys. We're working out the glitches, Sean. Hey, we got to do it. We got to get it done, but you know how it is. Hey, look, we're washing all our bed stuff. So if you see laundry behind us, we have like boxes of our bed linen. So we've been just powerhousing it, just washing it after it's been in storage. So, all right, Miss Pittsburgh says it's good. Lindsay says it's good. George says you're good now. Okay, it's good. All right, we are back, but we're talking Steelers, man. Steelers mini camps, Steelers OTAs, all that bullshit. But now that we're wrapping this up, Sean, let's dive in a little bit here. Again, tomorrow night will be our drawing, guys, so make sure that you are here for that. And also, we will have our Friday show at 6:30, and I will definitely do a daily upload tomorrow morning. Just sorry, literally, guys, this has been a very busy period of my life. So, but we're going. But anyway, Sean, I heard something that is pretty encouraging here that I wanted to bring up, and that I had told you before the show was a guy like Beanie Bishop at the cornerback spot, guys. Many people, well, not many, but I've heard several at least say this, that Beanie Bishop is a little bit ahead of maybe where Joey Porter Jr. was at this time last year. I thought that he was a guy that should have been drafted, Sean, a guy right down the road for me from WVU, a Big 12 player. really a cornerback that I thought had the right stuff. But you see a guy like him getting maybe those accolades, people looking at him saying, hey, man, maybe he's picking up the pace and maybe he's going to be able to contribute here in 2024. Would that get you pretty excited? Because you've heard people all offseason talking about maybe they need to add another corner. They weren't maybe thrilled with Dante Jackson from the Carolina Panthers. But I think that's something to be excited about, don't you? Somebody like Beanie.
Yeah, man, that makes me smile a lot when I hear about that. It's such a good place to have depth, and there's other guys that are doing good, but to hear Beanie Bishop doing better than what Joey Porter Jr. was on his rookie year, and Joey Porter Jr. his rookie year was phenomenal, if you ask me. So that's thrilling to me. I love this.
Yeah. Well, you had Joey at the beginning there. He was phenomenal whenever he got inserted, man. He played lights out, and he ended up being the guy that, follows the number one receiver of the opposing teams. But when Joey first came into camp last year, he was getting beat up by a few players on the wide receiving core, guys that didn't even make the team, but that was okay. He was getting his feet underneath him. But it is encouraging to see a young guy coming in, an undrafted free agent rookie coming in and maybe possibly having the hope of contributing. And I think if you're the Steelers, after you add Cam Sutton, right or wrong, whatever, that's a conversation we've already had. But adding a guy like Cam Sutton, football wise, seeing what Corey Trice maybe can do, maybe he pops up too. But this cornerback room that has not been maybe a real strength of the Pittsburgh Steelers over the past, 4 or 5 years. Maybe it hasn't been the best, maybe that does become a strength. And I think coupled with the inside linebacking core and the edge rushers and TJ and Alex, all pro and Minka on the back end, what do you think? This defense could be really damn tough, huh?
Man, it's got to be one of the top five, top three in the NFL. I mean, there's not really a single link that's weak in that defense. And you're only as good as your weakest link. So this is going to be one of the best defenses in the whole NFL. I firmly believe that.
I think you're right, man. And I think all arrows are pointing up for this defense, really. It's something that I don't like to anoint anybody here at this point of the season and, give them high praise. But I really think that this defense could be something pretty damn special, man. And it's giving me the vibe that I haven't had in quite some time. What's up, Joe from Philly? What's up, man? Jonathan Stevens, we in here daily. Calvin Austin is shining. Let's see him versus JPJ for a while, so we know where he's at now. Yeah, we'll talk about him in 1 second, Jonathan. That was a good bring up there. Danny George, what's up? Miss Pittsburgh, let's go, people. Let's hit the like button and subscribe and share to the best show in town that's here. Thank you. I appreciate it so very much. Again, guys, yes, let's hit that like button as we're about almost to the 10-minute mark of our daily live stream. But Sean, you're talking about guys like a Calvin Austin, these young guys that, they haven't contributed a lot lately or yet in their NFL career. They haven't been able to get their feet underneath them just yet or get the opportunity. But guys like a Calvin Austin, guys like Corey Trice's and Beanie Bishops and all these young players, anybody that's a young player, that could come in and contribute and do some big things early. That is something that we have to give a lot of praise to that front office staff, because you're starting to see that. And I think that that is something really special and that I think we need to give a lot of praise to Omar, Andy, Mike, all those guys. What do you think about that and the job that they've done here in, the 23 season, the 2024 season? Do you think as a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, just watching it as a fan, do you think that, things have turned a corner a little bit in terms of player evaluations, the draft, and roster management as a whole?
Yeah, my hat comes off to the front office and all the guys that are running this whole organization. They've done an amazing job. I was sitting here thinking how this is just a whole new team in a matter of 1 year. I want to say with this past draft that they just have, it's a brand new team, and I think they've done an amazing job. I'm really excited for what the future holds, and I also think that it will help guys like Calvin Austin who've been trying to establish themselves in the organization because last year it was just like I said, a whole different team, and it was probably really tough for these young receivers to get ground when you got struggling quarterbacks, out there taking reps. So you get a good solid offensive scheme going on with a quarterback that's capable of managing the offense, we might see Calvin Austin take off and become a superstar in the NFL. We don't know. I hope we find out soon.
Yeah, dude, you've seen it before. Guys get their opportunity and they take it. And according to many, he's working his ass off. So that's something very encouraging. What's up, D? Good afternoon, man. Yeah, but Calvin Austin, dude, I definitely think, like you said, man, he could be. It could happen. And the thing that I said, guys, earlier this offseason, when people were really starting to try to really hype up the Calvin Austin thing, was is he going to get the opportunities? Is he going to get the reps? And right now, Sean, I have to say that it is a strong possibility that he is going to get the reps. And there's one reason for that. That is his work ethic. That is his accountability. That is his ability to come every day looking to learn, looking to work. And that is starting to be noticed by this coaching staff. Arthur Smith in particular, Coach Zani in the wide receiver room, Coach Z. That's how we're referred to him, guys. I'm not going to say his name all the time. But Coach Z, they're publicly saying Calvin is coming every day and working his ass off. You hear guys like Justin Fields, you hear Russell Wilson. They are talking about Calvin and his work ethic, man. I think that that's what's going to get him above, Sean. You know, that's what's going to get him over that hump, man. And I think that you were hearing good things, good things. And now, though, that we're talking about that, and do you think with the Steelers getting comfortable with a guy like Calvin, does it become something maybe of a mute point of going out and getting another guy? Or would you just roll the dice like you did with Corey Trice? And I had to use your saying, but would you maybe just be more comfortable rolling the dice and saying, you know what? Screw it. Let's go with our guys. We see what they're putting in.
I feel like it wouldn't be a bad thing to just roll the dice with Calvin Austin, especially if they're seeing that great work ethic that you're looking for in these players. He's made, improvements obviously, and if it takes a guy like that wants it, and he's showing that he wants it, and I think that that's what you need out there. And if you go out there and you bring another guy in, it may not pan out the way you think it's going to, and we've already seen what Calvin Austin has, and we know he's talented. We know he has the speed to blow the top off any defense. And if he can make that adjustment and become the superstar that we think is possible that he may be, we have a diamond in the rough. And the only way you're going to find out is by giving him a chance. So I hope they give him a chance this year. And maybe, if he takes the reps this year and he doesn't make the leaps and bounds that we want to see, maybe then go somewhere else. But at least give the guy a solid chance.
Yes. That's what they should have did with other guys. We won't mention names, but there's other players in the past that you got to just see what they can do. Give them an opportunity and don't let players out there that are struggling. Don't just continually wait and wait and wait. Yes, you give guys a chance to rebound. You give guys a chance to, get their feet back underneath them or, maybe work out of an issue, a deficiency. But man, that is one of Mike Tomlin's big flaws is waiting too long to yank somebody out of that lineup. And I think that is something that has to change this season here in 2024. And like you said, give a guy a chance, see what he is going to go with or how he's going to respond. And that's how you know what you got there. You can't wait sometimes. And that's another thing that Mike Tomlin maybe does a little bit, that it maybe waits a little bit too long in terms of inserting a young guy. Let them get their feet underneath them and get their feet wet early and often, allow them to play. And I hope that that's what they do. Mark Malone says, yeah, man, the dude was known as a worker coming out of college. I think he breaks out sooner rather than later. I think you may be right. No doubt about that, Mark. I think sooner may be what happens. At least I'm hoping so. There's some other guys too, but would you be comfortable week one, Sean, willing out a lineup of George Pickens, George Pickens, Roman Wilson, Calvin Austin, Van Jefferson, and throwing in maybe a Quez Watkins or somebody? Would you be comfortable week one with that being your wide receiving core going up against whoever they play? I can't remember who it is, but off the top of my head, now I don't have any computer here to look at my schedules and shit. But anyway, since I moved, but Yeah, would you be comfortable? Would you be cool with that if they rolled out week one with those five guys as your lead dogs in the wide receiver room?
Yeah, I'd be skeptical, but I'd be excited to see what they can do because you never know, what they can do under once the game starts and the ball's kicked off that tee. These guys might just settle in because they've gelled so well. But I think that they would be okay with it. I really do. These guys they want to double team Pickens, which is what everybody's afraid of. And yeah, that would suck because we have a superstar in him, and it's gonna keep him under a thumb in somewhat. But the other guys, it gives them a chance to shine. And if they're bringing the blitz, you send them on a cross route, a 3-step cross the middle. Got a quarterback that knows he's going there, just dump it. These guys got the speed to, like I say, blow the top off of any defense. And it's all about game plan and scheming and just utilizing the tools that you have and knowing how to use these guys. And that's where we fall into Arthur Smith, and he's got to come up with a game plan for what we have. And with guys, these smaller receivers, you just got to play smarter. You can't go out there and be physical, so you got to be smarter. And I think that they could still win with these guys personally.
Yeah, I think so too. And you're right about that when you said smaller. You got to make sure you're scheming the right way and doing the game plan correctly. You're absolutely spot on with that. And that is something that has to happen. And I think the Steelers over the years, liking smaller body guys in that wide receiver room. You've seen it with AB. You've seen it with Santonio Holmes. You've seen it with several guys, Emmanuel Sanders, just many over the years in that smaller stature type category. They've been able to make it work, and they've been able to make good decisions on drafting these guys and bringing them in. So yes, I think that could work. But one thing you were talking about, maybe quick steps or quick drops, dumping the football to these guys. You saw Calvin Austin be able to do that a little bit last year. And I think, like you said, with the speed, I think those drag routes and things of that nature could really prove to be really potent for the Pittsburgh Steelers and could really cause some problems for opposing defenses. And I understand it's a very simple scheme. I get that. But sometimes you don't need to reinvent the wheel to be good, And I think that's
Absolutely.
exactly what you were saying. Dump the ball, get it out of your hands if you're Russell Wilson to those guys and allow your guys to make plays. But that brings us to whenever you said about the skill sets of certain players and knowing your guys to scheme them up correctly. I think that's what I think the most we can take out of OTAs and minicamp right now, Sean, is learning what guys can do in terms of their abilities, how their speed, their size, those things like that, and start to take this 6-week period here to where you will have a gap in football from minicamp to Latrobe. And if you're Arthur Smith, now's when you start to write the book. Now that you've seen players and you've seen what they can do, and you have some familiarity, now's when you start to make that game plan and write that next chapter and really start to send that out to the players and start to get your installs ready and start to get this thing in motion. All right, guys, thank you so much. Continue to hit that like button. We want to get those likes up here on Steel City Live. We appreciate it. I'm Jason. That's Sean. Only here on Mike Drop Sports for our daily live show. Again, sorry for the technical issues, but we will work those out. We will make sure that we are in a better room. I think I might do it upstairs from now on in our bonus room. It's closer to the router, but in this room, Sean, I'm literally 3 floors below. So it's like, what are you doing? I don't even know why I thought that it would work, to be honest with you. It was stupid. But hey, good thing I had you on here to tell me that it was like glitching because I wouldn't even have known. I'd been like, hey, talking my shit.
Trial and error, my friend, trial and error. And you know what? On
Yeah.
that note, with like the smaller players and the game plans, like look how they use like Tyreek Hill. He's not the biggest player in the
No.
NFL, but he's a danger in other ways. And I feel like Calvin Austin is that type of danger. He is fast as can be. And man, you gotta, like I say, you gotta respect that on a whole different level. And I think that's how they need to utilize this guy, dump him the ball like they do Tyreek and let the speed do the rest.
That's it. We need to give him a nickname right now. I want to anoint him the Flash, dude. Let's just call him Flash. Flash. Oh, imagine
Dude.
having Myron Cope saying that on the radio. There goes Flash. What the hell is that? Oh man, I wish that would be awesome. I miss Myron,
Flash,
dude. I miss him.
Flash Austin.
Flash Austin, baby.
Or Austin
Yeah.
Flash. Something, yeah.
Yeah, CA3 can take a slant to the house. Yes, Mark. And I think that is exactly it. Those quick underneath drags, quick 3-step slants. I think that those things can prove to be a real big weapon, especially when you're drawing teams up into the box a little bit. And I know that may sound weird because you're bringing players up, but yet you're trying to throw a little bit of a quicker route. But you don't have to throw the route soon as they hit that step on that third step and make that cut. You don't have to quite throw it then. And if you're Russell Wilson, taking that one step and waiting on that back foot for a half a second would draw them guys up, especially if you're running the football well enough with a good play action, a good run action is what we'll call it. You can dump that football to guys like Calvin Austin, guys like that. Even GP, anybody, Roman Wilson, you will have a lot of options, man. And I think that could prove to be real lethal because you're going to let them just get behind those middle linebackers. And Russell Wilson is really going to have to take something that has been known to be a deficiency for him at some time through his career, and that is thrown over the middle. And I think that has to be something that he really works on this offseason and really develops a good chemistry with his wideouts, because I think that's where the Steelers are going to really earn some money and really do some damage to opposing defenses when you're able to just get behind those middle guys and create those big plays, because beating one level more in the safeties and in the DBs, I'd rather take my chances with Calvin Austin outrunning those guys and, seeing what happens, man. I think it's going to be exciting. Definitely. No doubt about it.
Absolutely. As long as they're going out there and working hard like Calvin Austin is and perfecting their craft, if you can run a solid, good route in the NFL, if you're a route runner, you're going to get open. You don't have to go up in the air and do these one-on-one catches with defenders all over you. You can get open and move the chains, and that's all you need to do. And if they can do that, then we got solid receivers, and I think that we're going to be just fine. My theme lately is every little thing is going to be all right.
Oh, boom. Man, if you could sing, that would have been awesome.
I'm not a singer. I'll stick to my night job.
I'm just messing with you. Yeah, everyone can't have a voice like an angel like me. When I sing outside, it attracts thousands. It's like I got to beat them off with a stick, man. I can't keep doing it. All right, guys, make sure you put your comments, questions, and concerns about your Pittsburgh Steelers or whatever you want to talk about kind of deal here in the chat as we move forward with our live show. And also hit that like button, talking about mini camps, talking about OTAs, and what are our takeaways from this, little period of the Pittsburgh Steelers offseason that, yes, it doesn't tell you a ton, but yet means oh so much in terms of what Sean just said there. And that is being accountable, working hard. And I think that builds teams, Sean. And I think that having guys like Calvin Austin rubbing off on the rest of the room, rubbing off on the rest of the team, those work ethics, those types of things, like when players are out there busting their ass, those types of things rub off on the rest of the football team. And I think it can be quite contagious. Do you like the way this team is coming together so far, just in general? I know it's early, but do you like the way that they're working? Do you like the way they're coming together here? Are you excited about that part of the process?
I'm more excited now than I have been in many years. Even in Big Ben's final few seasons of his career, I wasn't this excited as I am right now. This is I feel like they made that turn. Everything took a spin in the right direction this offseason. And I feel like, they're out there gelling right now by, guys like Fatanu or whatever, getting smoked by Herbig play after play right now, which we can get into that later if you want. But these are the things that that chisel you into the piece that you need. You can't be going up there and having no competition all through OTAs and all through training camp. But with these guys going out there with these skills and putting the pressure on each other, That's exactly what we want. It's getting me really stoked. If these guys are really trying to make a name for themselves, trying to find a spot within this roster, and that's what it takes. And they're working hard to get there. And like you say, it's contagious. So it's spreading throughout the locker room. And you got all these guys out there just grinding, and it's going to roll over into the season. And I think the Steelers are going to do good this year. Like I'll say it over and over again: 12-5. They're going to finish strong. They're going to go into the postseason, and we're going to get some wins there too.
I hope so, man. Lindsay C says me too. I feel like this year is going to be good. I feel like there's good vibes, and I know a lot of football teams around the NFL are going to say that. Hey, I feel good about this ball club. I'm feeling good. But I gotta say, I am. You've watched. I've watched. Many of our viewers have watched the Pittsburgh Steelers or their team for many, many years, and you do get those feelings. You do see the things that happening that it takes to be good. You see those things start to develop, and yes, it's something that doesn't come around every year. Lou says, "Go Browns!" Oh,
Hey,
you're in trouble, Lou. You're in
hey,
trouble.
at least you got a team that you like, and you're being supportive and loyal to them. I'll give you props
Mhm.
for that, bro. Welcome to the channel. You ever feel like talking football? We're right here, bro.
Yeah, I know. You got guys, if you're a Browns fan, you got to be truly dedicated. You do. Because honestly, their team has blown many years, man. And it's very hard. And it is. No, I'm giving props to them, man. Definitely. Browns fans, I give you all the credit, especially for the loyal ones, because to be able to withstand that type of losing year after year. You have to be a real dedicated fan, no doubt about it.
They're for
Miss Pittsburgh brought up something here that I forgot. I wanted to bring it up and ask you about. It was Joe Burrow's talking about retiring. He's talking about his injuries. I didn't see it, so I don't know Miss Pittsburgh, but that is pretty interesting. What do you think about Joey B? Do you think the Bengals got an injury problem with their QB?
I've kind of been jokingly calling him Glass Joe for the past 6 months, but I would be shocked if he gave up and retired like out of just a few injuries in a few years. Like, come on, man! Like that would be soft. Like he's got a talent for sure, and he can go out there and win some games. And man, I haven't really seen any like crazy injury from him to really keep him on the sidelines or maybe have him question his career. Like I said, that would just be crazy if that was true. If he was really talking about retirement, because he's still young too. Like
Mm-hmm.
man, I don't know. Maybe would that make him like the next Andrew Luck or something? That guy went out, I guess, the same way. So I guess
Yeah.
it's not. I guess it couldn't be too crazy. It's happened before, you
Yeah,
know.
it seems like it, man. And I like that name, Glass Joe. That's kind of yeah, that kind of is pretty fitting for him. Yeah, he had the knee injury. Okay, that one we could see, sideline him for a while, but it's just these little things like constantly holding him back. And this is just what 2 years removed from a Super Bowl appearance for the Cincinnati Bengals and their fan base that had, very big, high hopes for that team and what they were going to be able to do moving forward. And it seems like, Sean, that the window is closed on them rather quickly. You know what I mean?
They did, and I joked about it and said, "Oh, you guys lost your opportunity when they got rid of Trubisky, the Steelers." I'm like, there you go, it's over. There went your window. But now it's like, even if he was to stay with all these injuries, maybe that window's gone. I believe in that firmly right now because
Mm-hmm.
they're like, even if he comes back, 100%, if he doesn't provide like a postseason win and get deep into the playoffs, what does that make them then? Because the Bengals have been hyped up to be the leaders of the AFC North with the Ravens above the Steelers. Like the Steelers have been the basement dwellers in the media for the past 3 years, and now all
Yeah.
of a sudden you guys got the Bengals. They can't even win with Joe Burrow. I mean, or he can't even stay healthy. I mean, you'd think the tune would start to change at some point.
Yeah. I like being the underdog. Let him talk, Sean. Let him talk. Oh,
Absolutely,
Russ
man.
says his toe amputation went good. Well, thank you. Hey, prayer
Nice.
works. Prayer works, baby. Prayer works. So yes, Russ, we're very happy that went well for you, brother, and continued prayers for your healing and continually let us know what's going on, and we appreciate you stopping in, even after you had a day of getting something like that done. That kind of sucks, but man, yes, prayer does work. I said a prayer for you last night, my man. Mark Malone, remember the year when Budweiser installed coolers all over Cleveland that would be only unlocked if the Browns won a game? No, I didn't know that. That's pretty crazy.
I did not know that either. That's funny. Wow. What
Dude,
a
I never knew
punishment.
that. Yeah, looking at that cooler going, these son of a bitches are never going to get us free beer, man. They're giving free beer away for us, and we can't even get it. It's locked.
Wow. That's
That's
shameful.
crazy. That is shameful, man. I'd have went and picked a lock on those coolers and just started drinking. George, he's talking to Russ. They lost every game for almost 2 years in a row. That's insane. You got to be dedicated, dude. I'm telling you. You got to be a freaking diehard to be a Browns fan, especially after the
Absolutely.
day the Mayflower pulled out of there,
Especially when
the moving truck.
especially when you're the most winning quarterback in your stadium played for the Steelers. Come on.
Yeah, no
For how many
doubt,
years
man.
Big Ben was the leader? Like he had more wins in that stadium than the Browns quarterbacks did. That's
Yeah, he
crazy,
owned
bro.
them. He
Yeah.
owned them.
Woo.
And they could have picked him. They could have picked him, and they didn't pick him.
Oh
Like,
my God, the irony, huh? Oh, Big Ben he had many laughs.
oh, man. I would have been sick. Sleeping Lady Browns could be good this year, but our Steelers are looking pretty good too. I'd put the Browns over BLT and Baltimore and Cincinnati. But I believe we got the best chance to win the division. I really do think that, Sean. And you hear about this. That brings it up. And you talk about the quarterbacks within the division. You talk about Joe Burrow dealing with injury year after year. Seems like things are starting to really nag him early on. You look at Lamar Jackson, you look at Deshaun Watson, which I think was one of the worst trades in NFL history by the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
You look at the Steelers now with Russell Wilson as their lead dog. And you say to yourself, is Russell going to be able to get the job done? But you heard him during this mandatory minicamp session talk about this. He said, I feel totally rejuvenated. I feel like I've been reinvented almost, is how he's kind of saying it. Like that he feels really, really good, that he feels healthy, he feels strong, he feels young, he feels like he drank from the fountain of youth. Do you buy all that from Russell Wilson? Are you buying what he's putting out there? And what do you think this season could possibly look like for one Russell Wilson, if that to be true?
I believe it. And I believe it because he didn't say these things when he went to Denver. You know, if you're just trying, if you think he's out there just saying these things to impress the media or even the Steelers organizations and coaches, he's not. He's already made his money and he knows exactly what to do with his career. And sometimes when you're at a work environment, let's just call it a toxic work environment, you don't feel good about things and if you don't feel good, you're not going to perform well, and you can try to muscle through it and work your way through it and try to make a name for yourself, and you'll do okay, but when you go into a place and everybody's gelling and you all have the right state of mind and everybody's kind of has on track and on the same page with each other, that's when you start to feel good about things. And you could even see it on Russell Wilson. I can see it like in his face, in the way he's training. He looks more confident. He doesn't look so lost in the eyes. You can see the determination, and I believe it when he says it. Yeah, he probably does feel rejuvenated, and he feels like that he has a good chance to really go out like a legend and put a stamp on the book saying that I'm a future Hall of Famer, and that's what I want, and that's what he's got to work towards. And he's got to feel good about coming into the situation where everything's just rebuilt, and look at the tools that he has around him and the guys that are going to protect him. I'd feel good too. And yeah, I'll say it for third time in a row. I believe him when he says it.
Hell yeah, baby. I agree, man. Cutthroat, what's up? He says Burrow had bad luck with injuries. The Bengals shit the bed for the past 3 years with no lineman drafts and free agents. I will say Burrow bulked up and doesn't look like the Home Alone kid anymore. If you're looking like freaking Macaulay Culkin, you're in trouble, bro. At the NFL level. You remember when Macaulay Culkin was all drugged out and he was like all like skinny and
Yeah.
nasty? It was like,
Yeah,
oh man, dude,
poor guy.
crazy.
Poor guy,
Yeah,
bro.
poor guy, poor guy. What's up, Walter? Walter's new nickname, I gave him a new nickname, Wyoming. That's where he's from. So old Wyoming says, remember, he remembers Art Modell. Yeah, Art Modell. Yeah, he was a turd.
Yeah.
Cutthroat. Burrow and the Bengals are the only team to beat the Chiefs in the playoffs in the past few years. That deserves respect. Yeah, it deserves. Hey, yeah, it does deserve some props, man. No doubt about it. They did beat the Chiefs, but I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to beat them on Christmas Day this year. I think the Steelers got their number. I, I
Exactly,
just
bro.
feel it. I feel it, baby. I feel it.
It's that magical feeling you get. It's just in the air. You know it's coming. I feel it too, bro. We got that defense that's just gonna what I don't care, Patrick who. We got the defense. Come on.
Light his ass up. Cutthroat says, I would take Burrow any day over our QB room. I would take a healthy Joe Burrow any day over our quarterback room. But if the rumors are true and injuries are building and nagging on him, I wouldn't go that route. And I just say that because I want somebody reliable. What's your best asset as a football player? Availability. I mean, and if you can't be available, then I mean, what good are you? You're good on paper, okay. That's just my theory. I definitely would love to have a healthy Joe Burrow because I think he can do some major damage. But definitely would love to see what he's going to do here in the next year or two if he can stay healthy. Lindsay
And
C says, I feel like Sean Payton created the mess in Denver. Russ did not do bad last year. Kenny was way worse, and look how the Steelers did. Absolutely. Sean Payton and Russ just didn't get along. It wasn't a good relationship. That wasn't Sean's guy. He was brought in before Sean Payton got there. Things happen, man. But Russell Wilson statistically really wasn't that bad. So, yeah, you're right. Definitely, Lindsay. No doubt about it. Let's go Steelers. The Steelers spanked the Chiefs this year, and we got tickets. So stoked. Health was a given. Yeah, health would be a given. Yeah, if you get a healthy one, that's for sure. No doubt about it. That's awesome. Russ got tickets to the Chiefs and Steelers on Christmas Day. That's going to be a sick game to go to, man. No doubt
you know,
about it.
I'll be the bad guy, and I'll go off of what you were saying, and I would take Russ over any Joe Burrow. I would take Russell Wilson over him,
Oh,
and
oh.
the reason being is Joe Burrow. He might have that Dan Marino effect. He might not be able to. He might not have what it takes to win the big game. And I know
Hey.
Russell Wilson already has, and he's done it for a different system. And he's a systematic quarterback, which is not a bad thing, and he's playing in a great system right now. And for that reason, I would take Russell Wilson all day, brother.
There you go. Hey, I do think Arthur Smith will put out a good system. I do think that. That's going to be a big factor. That's going to be the X factor. And you're right. System quarterbacks aren't bad if you have a guy like a Russell Wilson, a game manager, we'll say. Game manager is what you want. And again, Joe Burrow, he won a national title at LSU. He made it to the Super Bowl, but it just feels like a sequence of bad events. And like you were saying, maybe the Dan Marino effect. Maybe it's bad luck. You don't know. Those types of things do happen, man. That's
Yeah,
true. Bad luck. Some people
uh,
just have bad luck, man.
yeah. I don't think it's that crazy, D. I think it's a fun topic to discuss, and it's not that crazy for somebody to take Russell Wilson over a Joe Burrow. Not in my eyes, brother.
Yeah, I mean, hey, luck does play into it. For me, anyway, I feel like there are some guys that if you look out there and it's like they just never can do, like something always happens to them. It's like, they get bit by a bug somehow and it never works out. And there's been a lot of players. Look at Jim Kelly. Look at Jim Kelly, been to 4 Super Bowls and never could win one. A guy that was destroyed the NFL. Look at Dan Marino, guy destroyed the NFL in terms of
Yep.
numbers, regular season, getting through the postseason and all that bullshit. With Jim Kelly never getting to win and hoist a Lombardi. Some people are like that though. That is a factor I think that has to be involved, no doubt about it. But you never know until it's over if that's the kind of luck they're going to have, I guess. You just never
Yeah.
know. Russ is super focused and rejuvenated this year. Running backs will be huge to help. This isn't a prime Wilson. This is an old man Wilson. He looked good though, D. I will say this: he looked in better shape than some of the other guys around the league that I've seen. He looks in
Yeah,
good shape.
yeah,
Now
I'm
he is
definitely.
old, guys.
Yeah, well,
35. Will be
we're all
36.
definitely aware of his age. That's for sure, and still don't change my opinion.
Yeah, no, he's definitely older, and no doubt, I give you that. But he looks in good shape. I will say that for Russell Wilson, he knows how to take care of his body, so that's a good thing. I feel like too, when you're in peak physical condition like that, I feel like mentally you're pretty sharp too. So that does help, and I think there's some different motivating factors here with Russell Wilson this year too, John. He's trying to finish out his career as a champion, as a guy that is walking out on top, cementing his legacy. And I think that is highly motivating, and I think that is something that would maybe elevate you a little bit. So that's something too that could be a factor.
I think so. Yeah, absolutely.
Marino finally ran out of coke his rookie year. Yeah, he was a cokehead. I forgot about that. I forgot about that. Yeah. Wyoming says an old Wilson is like 100x better than Kenny. Yeah, I'll give you that. Kitten Mittens sucked ass, dude. No doubt about that. Oh, Kitten
Oh my
Mittens. I
god.
got to make a shirt with Kitten Mittens on it, dude. We need like a group picture of like the Steelers quarterbacks over the last few years since Ben. We need like a Duck. We need Mason. We need
Oh yeah,
Kenny.
yeah.
We need Mitch. We need to be like, put them all on there like they're in a family photo. Like one of them ones from Olin Mills where like your hands are on the shoulder of the person in front of you. You're like, you remember
Or
those back in the day?
yeah. Man, we had a good with Big Ben, man. 18 solid years and never really had to worry about these crazy quarterback
Oh,
carousel. It's been wild.
yeah. But dude, honestly, I will say this about Big Ben. He was probably the best statistic quarterback, the best quarterback we've ever had. I give you that. But I feel like the last 5 years of his career just,
Yeah.
man, I don't know. I just didn't feel it like I felt it before. It was just something. It was different. It was
Yeah.
different. When you get older, it's different. It is what it is.
I,
George
I
says,
feel you.
what'd you say? Go ahead.
I feel you on that one, brother.
No doubt. George says Russ never had a major injury. That's a plus for him too. Yeah, that is a plus for him too. No doubt about it, guys. There's lots of factors, and I definitely wasn't a big proponent of him coming because of the age. We know that. Sean probably wasn't either before they made the move. But the guy is here now, so we have to look at what are his positives. Yes, you need to look at his negatives too, but definitely we have to look at his positives, and we have to see what he's going to be able to do, especially Arthur Smith. He needs to be doing that, game
Yeah.
planning, figuring out what you're going to be able to do. And I think it'd be wise for Arthur Smith to go back to those glory days of the Seattle Seahawks and understand what Russ was doing well, and really try to focus on that and see how that works out at camp, see how things start to flow, and kind of build from there.
Yep. You got to have a strong run game to do that, and that's what we have in Pittsburgh. So should work out well.
I hope so, man. I think that honestly, too, let's talk about this offensive line real quick. I really do think that the Pittsburgh Steelers have a high potential to have one of the league's best offensive lines. And I know that is a big stretch. But you look at all the young talent there, you look at there's a couple veterans there. But if you look at this, guys, there's basically like 3 top 50 picks on that offensive line that are super young. I think that that's a solid sign, Sean, just looking at it that way. You know what I mean? That would be something that would tell me, if they can stay together and stay healthy, that here in the next year or two, I think that they could be really, really good.
Yeah, that's a lot of time to play together and build that chemistry together. Absolutely. And, to come in there and have a youthful O line is always a good thing. So we got a bright future in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I think so, man. Youth. Yeah, I definitely think it's something to really be positive over. I definitely think that the Steelers made the right moves, and I know that it wasn't flashy. I know there was other things people wanted. Get a wide receiver, get a top 10 cornerback, do all this stuff. And I get that. But those types of teams that reach for those players without solidifying their offensive and defensive lines, I think those are the teams that you find to be the basement dwellers more often than not. The teams that never are consistently winners. And I think that there's a process in which you have to attack building a roster. And I think the Steelers finally started to get back to that. And that is through the trenches, and that is through those types of big guys, man. That's what makes this all go. Cutthroat says both quarterbacks were cheap, low risk, time will tell. Yeah. Well, I think this about this season, Sean. I think we're rolling the dice here, or the Steelers are rolling the dice. I think that they've been financially responsible because they realize in 2025 they are going to have massive amounts of cap space, top three, in the league. They're going to have a ton of money. And I think that they've kind of prepared this team that it right now can win, and that you're going to be able to get to see some players that are on cheap deals and really be able to kind of guide you in the direction that you need to be going instead of guessing and hoping when you're building this roster, bringing free agents in, paying a shit ton of money for guys that you don't know how they're going to perform on your team or on your roster. I think that this was a pretty smart move by Omar and Andy and Mike. I really do. They've built this roster relatively cheap, still have available cap space. And in 2025, they got a shit ton. Don't you think that that's pretty positive? They could totally flip this offense next year if they wanted to.
I feel like they're playing chess, not checkers. They're playing for the bit. They're being really smart about everything. And like you're saying, this isn't just a all in for 1 year. They're going all in for many years to come. They're gonna be making playoff run after playoff run with what they got going on, and they're being financially responsible. And that says a lot to me too. Chess, not checkers, boys. That's what we got to do.
Yeah, people will call the Steelers cheap. I get those comments a lot, and I respect those comments. I understand it. Yeah, they do. They make some deals that are cheap deals. I understand that. But they're not those teams that go out there and overpay for players and screw themselves. They did it a little bit with Mitch, I thought, but still a $10 million a year quarterback really ain't that bad. But yeah, he just sucked. But still, you don't see the Steelers doing that, Sean. And I think that that is a positive thing, man. And I think the fans should respect that. And they do pay the players that they need to pay. They've paid TJ. They've paid Patrick Queen in free agency. That was their largest ever free agent signing. They've paid Ben in the past whenever his contracts were due. They paid AB, the largest receiver contract at that time when that happened. They pay the players that they have to pay, And definitely, I think that the Pittsburgh Steelers and Omar Khan have realized that what you just said, the chess match, the way that this all has to unfold. And I say it every day. Omar Khan gives himself options, and we should be pumped about that. Definitely.
100%.
Russ says, I think we lead the NFL in rushing. That would be pretty awesome. No doubt about it. I hope so. Cutthroat says, yeah, that would be awesome. The Cutthroat says the key is not for the nation to not panic about the O-line this year. Most rookie offensive linemen struggle in their first year. They do. Yes, that is the typical thing. I think you saw Broderick Jones handle his rookie year pretty well, Sean. I think Troy Fautanu, like you had talked about earlier, getting beat up by Nick Herbig a little bit in terms of speed and things like that here during these little camp sessions. I think, yeah, that says a little bit. But again, we got to wait until the pads come on because really, Troy can't light him up, but that should be encouraging for us also that Nick Herbig got some damn wheels, baby.
Man, he is. I hear nothing but great things from Nick Herbig from last year, and I'm even reading things about him making that year 2 leap, and he's showing signs of it. And man, if he was making splash plays last year and he's already made that year 2 leap this year, we have like a superstar riding on the bench, waiting to come in and fill for cool. TJ and Highsmith. Man, there's just these quarterbacks on the other teams. It's going to be a big challenge for them. They're going to be chased around that field all game long. It's going to be really fun to watch.
Yeah, and if you imagine a Nick Herbig that can take that year 2 leap that you speak of, if you can imagine him doing that and being able to give TJ enough rest to where he is constantly fresh when he is in, and still not having a monster drop off, still having a productive player out there when he is sitting. I think that could be a very lethal combination that people are overlooking inside of this NFL, inside of the media. And I think if you look back through my videos, I do recall a time when the season ended that I said that you need to watch out for Nick Herbig, that he will be a superstar in the NFL. And I think he's going to prove me right this year. I think that that's definitely the case. Russ says, you guys, he has season tickets to WVU. Look out for Zach Frazier and Beanie Bishop. We talked about it that at the top of the show, where Beanie was really showing out a little bit, at least for what he can do right now in terms of speed, in terms of his ability to stay close with the receivers. And, that's a positive sign. Zach Frazier, I said, is the best center in the draft. I know Sean likes him too. I think the Steelers made a good pick. But definitely two guys. I am scared about the Mason or the Fields fumbling. I definitely am scared about that, Sean. That is one thing that does freak me out. So I kind of hope Russ stays in and Justin gets a chance to breathe this year and kind of see what's going on in his football life. I definitely do.
I saw some video clips of the Steelers working with Justin, and they basically had him working on his footwork. And while he was doing this back and forth thing through the pads on the ground, working on the footwork, he was looking forward and catching tennis balls and with one hand, and he had to hold the football in the other. And while he's holding onto the football, you got a guy behind him with a punching, what do you call it, a boxing glove on the end of a stick, and they're sitting there swatting at the ball while he's catching tennis balls and doing footwork at the same time. So I think they're working with him on that, and hopefully these drills can improve that.
I hope so. Yeah, it is definitely a major risk. And I like that drill. I seen that. That was sick. I thought that was a cool drill. I might try to use it with my little kids to get their hand-eye coordination. I think that'd be awesome.
Definitely.
Hey, my football season's about to start up for my kids. Cheat like Chargers. We got to give them some props. I'm going to put some of their highlights. I'm going to put some of their highlights on YouTube. I feel like this year. Wesley Boys said, spot on, Jay. Rome was. Have to be patient, and I think that's where, and I understand it, Sean. The Pittsburgh Steelers haven't won a playoff game in this will be 7 years if it continues. I think 6 or 7 since 2016. But you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers and you say to yourself, like, is that drought going to end? Possibly. But we got to be patient. And I think Steelers Nation has just gotten a little antsy because we haven't seen a playoff win. And that's where some of this frustration comes from. That's where some of us get a little bit maybe too quick to judge sometimes on some of our young talent, things of that nature. But we've got to just trust the process and allow it to go here. Definitely. Oh, I wanted to bring something up before I continue with the rest of this chat, Sean. Deshaun Elliott, the guy that the Steelers picked up to be to be Minka Fitzpatrick's running mate, has a tight relationship with Patrick Queen, another cornerback also, and Anthony Averett. They were all in Baltimore together at one time. I definitely think that's going to be a big help because you're having a guy in Deshaun Elliott that likes to play up toward the box. That's his preferred location. And I think that's going to free up guys like Minka to be a ball hawk. And that was just another strong suit, Sean, when we were talking earlier about this defense and its potential. I think that really adds some significant value also, man. I think all 3 levels of the Pittsburgh Steelers defense have some real special qualities.
Yeah, me too, man. That's great that that's happening, and these guys have chemistry already playing in Baltimore together, and they can bring that over and bring it into Pittsburgh. And not saying that they need to bring a Baltimore scheme into Pittsburgh. What I'm saying is they can bring that bond into Pittsburgh and be more confident out there playing in Pittsburgh together, and to help each other and to keep excelling and mastering their craft together. And like you said, if he can get up there and press more and leave Minka more free in the backfield, that's just that much better for the Steelers. And I agree with you, man. This is super exciting, and I don't feel like there's a weak link on the defense at all. These guys are solid, and it's going to be a top 5 defense in the NFL. That's my opinion.
Yeah, and these young guys like Mark and John put in there, Cutthroat put in there. they're going to be good. They're going to be able to spell Alex, spell TJ. That is it, Sean. Depth and having quality depth to keep your players fresh. We know the record without TJ, and you want to keep him ready for the playoffs, ready for that late season push. Definitely. Russ says Zach pushes his man 10 yards back like Pouncey did. Great hands, gets under guys' pads. Absolutely. And that comes from that wrestling background, Sean. Having that strong, low center of gravity, being able to really dig up in those defenders.
Yep, that's exactly what we want as a center. Somebody that can go out there and move those guys back.
Yeah, no doubt. What's up, Tom Ford? Tom says, what's up, Jason and Sean? I know it's been way too much, but the Steelers should really try to acquire Brandon, especially with them trying to get to the big game this year. I mean, it wouldn't hurt, Tom, and I'm not, if they make the deal, guys, any type of big name wide receiver that they can bring in, if they make it a good deal, I'm all for it, man. And I'm down for a big run. Whatever it takes, it is what it is.
For
We don't
26
want to see
million a
no.
year is what he has on the table, right? Brandon Ayuk, he's leaving 26
Yeah,
million on the table. They haven't agreed to anything in San Francisco yet. And every day that goes by and they don't make an agreement, the more it screams that he's probably not going to stay in San Francisco. But the thing is, do we really want to pay that much for a receiver when we potentially have something special with Roman Wilson and Calvin Austin? Like I say, you don't
yeah.
need to have these big guys as receivers. And I don't even think Brandon Ayuk is that big of a receiver himself. He runs great
Uh,
routes and finds a way to get open. Yeah, and that's what we need to do as a receiver.
I don't know his measurables. I've never really looked at. I can't remember them off the top of my head. I don't know. He might not be. He might be. I have no clue, Sean.
I'm gonna
I
look
have
it
no
up.
clue. Go ahead. All right, guys, I'm going to catch up on the chat. We don't want to see no interceptions. No, we don't. We want to see our team, the Steelers, get some interceptions. Jonathan Stevens, they panicked when they got Mitch, when they had Rudolph all along. He was 10 times better QB. I agree, man. No doubt. I agree 1,000%. Yes, he did steal him, Jonathan. And I definitely think that was true. And I think that you look at Mason Rudolph, and I think he got a real raw deal here in Pittsburgh. 6 years wasted, in my opinion. And I think that was a Mike Tomlin issue. And I'm not sure why they didn't play him. I'm not sure. Maybe they didn't see it in him. But I think definitely he deserved a real shot. And he never got that real shot.
Brandon Ayuk
Wilson
is
had.
6 foot tall. Sorry, brother.
Oh, no, I didn't know that. I thought he was a little bit bigger than that. Okay.
6 foot. I can get his weight too.
Cutthroat says Wilson had 11 fumbles last year and Fields had 10. That's a lot of fumbles, guys. A lot of fumbles. I think, though, Fields has way more over his short career. I think it's like 38 fumbles so far in his short career, if my memory serves me correctly. I bet Mason beats it. Yeah, he may beat out Will Levis down there and become that starter. Cutthroat says the last 2 years QBs with the most sacks in the NFL: Wilson 100, Fields 99. Just giving stats. Yeah, I mean too. How was their offensive line? Were they holding the ball? What about the scheme? I know we beat up quarterbacks here for the scheme too. That plays a role. I don't know. I don't know. If that comes with them. I don't know if the offensive line being better or the scheme being different. Does that help? Do you think maybe, Sean, with a better action game in terms of play action and the many ways that you can use that, and maybe a little bit of a different scheme, maybe a little bit better offensive line, do you think that would create those numbers to go down for guys like Fields and Wilson, and where they don't take as many sacks or pressures, during a season? Do you think that those factors are really going to come into play big and maybe get them guys on the right path in terms of maybe not taking as many sacks?
Yeah, I don't see him taking as many sacks. It's all about the scheme, like Jason's talking about. You got to have a scheme, and you got to know what kind of tools you have, and you got to utilize those tools, know how to use them. And I think in Denver it probably wasn't the best, ideal spot. He didn't have the best offensive line, and if he comes out here in Pittsburgh and he has a better O line and he has more tools, yeah, of course they're going to be better numbers. I think it's all about scheming, and with this run heavy offense and play action, like I just don't see a bunch of fumbles. I'm not going to be seeing a bunch of sacks. Now, my question is, was Russell Wilson running out of a perfectly clean pocket and getting sacked like Kenny Pickett was? If he's doing that, then we have a big problem. But who do these sacks really fall on? Whose shoulders? Like it takes a team to build a dream.
Yeah. I'm going to watch some tape. I think that raises a good question that Cutthroat put in there. I think that raises a good thing to watch on tape that I need to analyze a little bit more. And I'm going to watch a lot of what Russell Wilson's all 22. I really want to see how that all unfolds and where you can maybe pin some of that or maybe pin it on Russ. I'm really curious as to what, the circumstance was. And Justin also, if I have time to do both, I definitely am going to. Russ says we screwed Mason 3 times over. I think so too, no doubt. All right, Sean, we're going to start wrapping up this show. We've hit our hour mark, guys, here on our daily live stream here on Mike Drop Sports. I'm Jason. That's Sean. Make sure you hit the like button before you leave the show. Get those likes up. And again, we'll be back tomorrow with our giveaway tomorrow. I think it will be awesome, and we'll have a great time. So make sure you're here around 7 o'clock for sure, so you don't miss that. But if you want to become a Mike Drop Mafia member, 99 cents a month, get that today before tomorrow's 6:30 start time for the show, because you'll be asked out for this month if you don't. So again, Sean, any closing thoughts? Anything you need to get off your chest?
Oh, thanks for having me on, man. It's always a lot of fun talking football with you, man. And it's always a lot of fun talking football in the chat with you guys. My closing thoughts are, I'm just going to keep using it. Every little thing is going to be all right. We just got to have patience, and we got to let this everything unfold and let these guys, the coaches, go out there and see how they can utilize the tools that we have. Don't hit the panic button. I don't feel like, we need a big number 2 wide receiver name, but hey, it still may happen. We don't know. But it's nothing for us to stress on. We just got to sit back, relax, and keep talking football.
That's it, man. And we got a big 6-week gap, guys, here. So we're going to pick some topics. Anything that you guys want to talk about, email us at mikedropsports@yahoo.com. All one word, no bullshit characters or anything. mikedropsports@yahoo.com. And let us know some topics that you would like to go over, because we're going to pick some topics here about this current team and try to dissect some things. Cutthroat gave us a little bit there that we're going to dissect a little bit of the film on fields, a little bit on Russell Wilson, and really look at those sack numbers. We're going to look at our linebacking core, I think, really in an in-depth way. Also, our secondary. And I really want to dissect this offense and its players and really get into the nuts and bolts before we get to Latrobe, Pennsylvania, for what will be one of the more magical camps in my time. I think it's going to be a special one, because I think we're all excited to possibly see a better football team and a better product in 2024. Sean, thank you for joining us, man. I appreciate it, as always, on Thursdays. I appreciate you coming. And until tomorrow, guys, sorry about no upload today, but we are getting through it, man. We will get back on track, I promise. But again, man, thank you, Sean. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Until tomorrow, I'm Jason. That's Sean. Peace.
Have a good night, everybody. Aloha, Jason. Talk to you soon.
Later, buddy. Thanks, guys.